So there is this conversation about Kemi Badenoch. I think that's Badenoch or whatever. She is a member of Parliament of the United Kingdom. She's 44 years old, born 2nd of January 1980. And her full name is Olukemi Olufunto Adegoke, a British Nigerian. Let me still attach the Nigerian, even though she said that she's got nothing to do with Nigeria. In fact, she said she's more attached to Yoruba as a tribe than Nigeria. She made mention of the North and talked about reparation. That is what is supposed to be paid back to the melanated people for enslaving them for the crime that was committed. In fact, all that is stole and gathered to build places like the United Kingdom. Well. Nigeria is divided on this matter. We have people who believe that Kemi should be crucified. In fact, some are saying that Kemi should be stripped of her Nigerian citizenship and maybe refuse her entry into Nigeria. Now, there are people who are saying, yes, what Kemi is saying is right. What Kemi is saying is correct. Now, it's a dicey, in fact, it's a dichotomy. But I want us to listen to Rufai Oseni. He actually broke it down. And I don't want to take his words from him. I want him to do justice to it. And then we put a kind of finishing touches to it. We'll put a kind of balance to it. It's serious. It's a serious matter. The other day too, David Adeleke Davido also went on an international platform, a music platform, where he demarcated Nigeria and he demarcated the present government, and he said a lot of things. Social media also picked on that, and people argued about it, and they said, this is Davido. So I'm going to treat both of their matter at the end of Rufai Oseni. Before proceed, please like and share, tap on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Returning subscribers, those that have been here, a big thank you to you. Let's get right into it.
About nationhood. Are we really a nation? Mm-hmm. There are Nigerian leaders who have even questioned the issue that we're just a geographical expression, as Chief Obafemi Awolowo said in the 1940s. In the constitutional conferences processes of the 1950s, identity, whether we should be together, was also an issue. And it was also eventually what led to the Civil War. So it's centrifugal because it's always a problem. It doesn't bring us together when politicians exploit it. And some people say, well, we should look at centripetal forces that can bring us together. But ethnicity remains a very major problem in this country. And people, for primordial, emotional, or simply out of ignorance, capitalize on the ethnic divisions for their own purposes. Some intelligent, some mischievous, some difficult to understand. Now, having said that theoretical base, on Kemi Badenoch's case, now there have been various opinions on this. I cite two examples, just to make it easier. Dr. Umado wrote a piece in which he was talking about the fallacy of identity. And his argument is that Kemi Badenoch should not be saying wrong things about her Nigerian heritage. That as somebody who was a product of this society, she may have done well in the United Kingdom, but she should also respect the heritage that she comes from. In other words, she should not stay outside and be throwing stones at, a point of extraction. That's one view, and it's a popular view. But equally popular is the view expressed by Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka in an article, I think, in the Leadership newspaper, in which he was saying that, look, we should perhaps be focusing more on the achievement of Kemi Badenoch. What is our achievement? The first black leader of the Conservative Party, a party that is 190 years old. And, he said all of that in itself is not a main achievement. And it was that prompted Umado rejoinder. So you find people looking at it from two different angles. However, the Spectator article that you referred to, when I reviewed it, it seems to me that Kemi Badenoch has a reputation for straight talking. I don't know how you define straight talking. In that same interview, they asked her what she takes for lunch. She says lunch is for wimps. And this generated a lot of controversy, even in England there, with Keir Starmer attacking her and saying, no, lunch is not for wimps. And she said, oh, people who take lunch breaks, you know, they are weak people, and sandwiches, you know, that she doesn't eat soggy bread, that when she's going to the office, she goes with her. Okay, that caused controversy. It was in that same interview that she says, I have nothing to do with the North. These are people who are into Boko Haram and all of that. Well, you may say, straight talking along that line, you may not want to excuse it, but that's how she felt. And she said, you know, there are so many other things that she has said that are considered controversial. I remember one thing. Sunday Igboho
yes,
was said to have issued a
statement.
I consider that statement illiterate because the matter between Kemi Badenoch and Shettima is not a fight between North and South. Yeah. And Sunday Igboho was saying that in 2021, when his house was stormed, it was because he criticized the Buhari administration. It's not because he criticized Buhari administration. It was because they thought he was organizing the Yoruba region in an act of insurrection against the Nigerian state. That was the issue. So it's a false equivalent. The analogy is not correct to say that, oh, Kemi Badenoch has said this, therefore Tinubu should warn Senator Kashim Shettima and tell him to be careful not to talk against Kemi Badenoch again. How ridiculous is that?
Do you trust the British police?
I do. But you know, remember my experience with the police in Nigeria was very negative. And coming to the UK, my first experience with the police was very positive. You know, the police in Nigeria would rob us. So when people say, oh, I have this bad experience with the police because I'm black and they're white, I was like, well, you know, I remember the police stole my brother's shoes and his watch.
His shoes?
Yeah, they took his shoes and his watch. It's a very poor country. So, you know, people do all sorts of things, and giving people a gun is just a license to intimidate. But that's not the bar we should use for British police. Obviously, it should be much higher. But my experience was so positive when I was burgled, for example. The police were there, very helpful. They eventually caught the person. This is 2004, so 20 years ago. The police did catch, they did catch criminals. And now we've given them too much to do, in my view. So the police are the first line of defense for everything. And I think that burden makes it a lot harder for them to actually do the basics. And that's another thing that we need to look at.
Well, Rufai, Kemi Badenoch came under fire with a statement as well, because, I mean, they didn't even ask her about the Nigerian police. What was the need of highlighting the Nigerian police? Well, let me just bring some balance with, you know, with the criticism she faced with this tweet. This person wrote, Kemi Badenoch's statement highlights the unfortunate reality of police misconduct and the struggles many face in Nigeria due to systemic issues. While her comment may feel harsh to some, it's important to use such remarks as a starting point for constructive dialogue about the pressing need for reform and accountability. Nigeria is rich in culture, resources, and potential, but corruption and mismanagement have left many disillusioned. It's not about labeling the country as poor, but addressing the deep-rooted challenges that led to such actions. True progress will come when these systems are overhauled and the people are empowered to demand better governance and justice. I mean, while this tweet is quite apt, we cannot say that the British police is not corrupt either. I mean,
very corrupt.
What really is going on here with Kemi Badenoch?
Fantastically corrupt. Couple of things, Audrey, and please, I beg you, please give me time.
Go ahead.
Good, very good. Number one, a lot of Nigerians are ignorant of what Kemi is doing. What is Kemi doing? Kemi is subjugating our own people to make Britain look good in the face of white nationalists. It's a deliberate attempt. These white nationalists believed in colonialism. They believed that black people are subservient to them. These were the same people that sold black people in slave markets. So these white nationalists have a mentality. Kemi feeds into the mentality by doing something called confirmation bias, that the black people you subjugated over the years remain down. So it's good for her to say these things bad about her country so that the white nationalists and the supremacists she's trying to incur her, to get their votes, will continue to support her. And you know why she's doing that? Because she's also in a race with Nigel Farage of Reform Party to show who is more very right-wing and hardline. That's the game she's playing. When she wanted Nigerians' vote in Dulwich, she reached out to the Nigerian people, but it's a political game she plays. So most of the percentage of Nigerian people that comment on this matter don't know what she's doing, and I'm trying to be able to bring it to the fore. And that's why she will make lies part of her statement. Things like, oh, colonialism, we should, I think she said one thing, we shouldn't thank the British for colonialism or something, they should not pay reparation. I think she said that part of the
I remember some statement about reparation.
Yeah, she said the British should not pay reparation. After even the British themselves have accepted, because it's a thing among the white...
I think it was for what
right-wing nationalists want. They don't want to pay reparation. They think it's a good thing. And that's why a girl that lived in VI, a woman that grew up in VI, will be citing all sorts of instances. Like, we don't get knifed in the UK. There are places I can't go in the UK, Peckham. I know a lot of people there, but Aomo, Mamasha, the Peckham. See, you will get knifed, Oji. The insecurity is crazy. The UK police she's talking about was not the UK police officer that raped somebody. What she will have said was to address the case of the UK police officer rather than coming back to the Nigerian police. I'm not saying, please, and you see the delusion a lot of people also have is, they get me wrong. They say, oh, is Kemi not saying the truth? Yeah, the things are the truth. I'm not saying you don't speak the truth. But situate it properly. That's what Kemi is not doing. Secondly, she made another fallacy by saying she doesn't have anything in common with the North. She's a lying person. She lies too much. Go and check. Dr. Abati, you know a lot about languages. Are we not in the same Kwa language group? The Benue Congo Kwa language group? So according to language and language classification, you have something in common with them. Secondly, she also made another fallacy by saying, no, you can't say, okay, I'm directly Yoruba and not wanting to identify with Nigeria, because this is the country that bet you. Secondly, she also made another fallacy by saying the people of the North are our ethnic enemies. They are never our ethnic enemies. We don't have any ethnic enemies in this country. You might have disagreements with people from other parts of the country, even with your fellow Yorubas, but it doesn't mean you're ethnic enemies, because, and that's why I think the Nigerian government should write the British government about Kemi Badenoch. It is messages like this that spur a redentist and divisive nature. People like Lagospedia, these are the ones carrying this mantra. And they are spinning like happened in the last election. Because when you start to say things like this, you forget this was the same narrative they were spewing in the 60s during the Civil War, when the October massacre happened, when people were killed in Kano. This was the same narrative. So that's incitement, and that's what we should write about. And lastly, please, nobody's saying Kemi should not point out our experiences, but we are saying situate it properly. Every nation in the world, if I'm to also write my experience about the UK, it's not that good. But she's not situating it properly because she wants to say these things to make the right-wing people love and support her for election gains. It's not my business if Kemi becomes prime minister or not. Agula Agutete, she will do a tenure or two and live there in the end. But it's the damage she will have given and the way she will have emboldened people with all sorts of racial confirmation bias that I'm scared about in the country.
All right. Well,
This is somebody who's actually volunteered to go to Rwanda, which puts to bed this nonsensical myth that Rwanda was not a safe place. It is. People go on holiday there. I know somebody who's having a very lovely gap year there.
If Rwanda is a safe haven, as you claimed, how come your father, your parents, your family, they moved to the United Kingdom in the 70s and the 80s? How come they did not move to Rwanda? You are still in the United Kingdom. What are you doing there? Relocate to Rwanda. If Rwanda is a safe haven, Rwanda is very safe, industrial. You move to Rwanda. Leave the people who are in the United Kingdom. Allow those people to be. Why are you so bent about sending immigrants?
And we need to move past a lot of those myths, which are actually just disparaging about an African country.
I'm so livid about this lady. Believe me, the other day she was referring to Nigerian health workers in the United Kingdom as butt cleaner.
And I want this country to be great for my children as well. We need to control it. We need to make sure that we are thinking about the next generation, not just who's going to wipe bottoms for us today. That's not good enough.
Okay. You understand? She's calling our people that they came to the United Kingdom to be cleaning bonbon, this and that. They don't want that kind of people, so therefore she need to deport all of them. Self-hatred.
Welcome back. Now, I am not saying that we don't have problems. In fact, the problems we have in Africa and in Nigeria, the most populous melanated country, it is something that is intentional. Yes, we might have some external forces influencing, but it is intentional, meaning certain people have decided to be a tool, a weapon fashioned against their people. There are a lot of things that we can talk about and touch on, but it still revolves around wickedness, which I say, and I will repeat again, is intentional. If you loot, take advantage of your people, and you take the proceeds of it outside of your continent, outside of your country, and you invest it in their economy, forgetting that you cried and wept and screamed and said we were enslaved, and you howled and howled and you threw tantrums, you said we were colonized. Now, some might say we are in what they call neo-colonization. Regardless of what you want to call it, stop excusing what you should be responsible for. At this time, at this moment, I believe that leaders, rulers in Africa should do better. We all should be responsible. Everybody should press and push for a better life that will bring about a better narrative. Now, let us look at Kemi Badenoch, because that's what some people are calling her Badenoch. You know, that's her surname, Badenoch. She was born in Nigeria, grew up in Nigeria, and she said, thank God I was not poor. But somehow, after a while, due to bad government, bad policy, I started seeing my parents' wealth, riches, income dwindling. Then we had to relocate. What business were your parents doing, Kemi? Are they part of those that got contract and then things started changing, or their businesses did not just flow and skyrocket as expected, and they felt, you know what, let us change location. All right. So they moved to the United Kingdom, not Rwanda, not some other African countries. They moved down to the United Kingdom. You heard what Rufai Hosseini said, that Kemi is simply manifesting what many melanated people, often mistaken as black people. I don't know of any black person, but I know of brown people of different shades. This lady is simply repeating, reiterating, affirming, confirming what she wants those that she perceives as superior to believe in. Once I throw down my country, once I ridicule my race, they will make me their poster child. Don't worry, they will put me there and make me feel like a queen. Let me destroy my people. That's a mistake. That's a problem with majority of melanated people. She grew up with this bias, and she decided to horn on it, polish it, and she's thinking this will work for me. Let me destroy my people. Let me cancel them. Let me point to what is even present in the UK. But let me pretend, let me encourage the British people that we can do better on our own side for our own people. But let me make it appear as if that continent, that country that I was born, is a place that I will never ever want to go to. We have people like this. They are quick to betray. And that is the point that I want to emphasize on. The British people, to them, it's a win on two sides. One, it makes them feel good that brown people, regardless of if you're a Nigerian, don't forget that most of these melanated people all over the world are always being treated as second class. Not because they are second, not because they do not have the IQ, but because there is this narrative that has been pushed and they have continuously worked upon it. The smarter you are, is either you are used or you become a threat to them. That's the thing. So these Caucasians, they look at you like, this lady, she's saying what we like, even though we know the truth, but we have to pretend as if we don't know the truth of majority of these things. And there are some of them who are not interested in learning more. They just want to hold on to what Kemi said. Like I said, it's a win-win for them. At the end of the day, Kemi might not be allowed to become. Kemi has simply reaffirmed what they have been putting on their TV about a continent called Africa. That's the problem about the African race. If you look closely, we have excellent people, but they are few. I'm not talking about intelligence now. I'm not talking about exceeding well in your profession. We are all equal to that as long as opportunities are there. Even those that do not have the opportunities, you can see signs of them thriving. What I'm trying to emphasize is this. There is something, if you look closely, watch closely, look, Africans are quick to betray. Look at Davido too. He went to the US, he started speaking and talking, and I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Is it because this guy is born in the United States, or it is because somehow the same Nigerian offered his grandfather opportunity to loot, to steal, and to do all sort of what? His grandfather was a politician. That is why they could still maintain that link in politics. That is why his uncle fought hard after the other uncle passed away to be governor of Osun State. Struggled and pushed so that they can retain that position. We should all ask, where did they get money from? From the same Nigeria. They were fortunate to have risen up here and there, get this, get that. They are also part of those that brought Nigeria to where you might ask, show the proof. How did they say? Show the proof that Obasanjo looted. I'll ask you that. Show the proof that Tinubu is a thief, that he looted as president. Show the proof that any of your past, good luck Jonathan, show proof that he is a thief. Show proof. Show proof of all of these people. Show proof of what Babangida stole. That's the same question I'll ask you. So whenever these people occupy political position, majority of them, 99% of them will loot. They will steal in different ways, and they will enrich their friends so that they can get kickbacks. They will open bogus companies. This is how Davido became, his father, parent. The parents of the rest of his other uncles and all of them. That's how they also got to. So he opened his mouth, said, hey, right now, the economy is that, but your father is there making business. Now, I'm not trying to support the government of Bola Tinubu. A lot of people are complaining. People are saying how useless this man is. Is it because of the policies that he put in place? That's why there is hardship? Is there like any buffer, something to help people manage? What exactly is Tinubu doing? That's the question, right? What's happening? Why is life not soft? Why did you become president? To take off fuel subsidy and not deal with your friends that are into the criminal activities or whatever? To take off fuel subsidy, this, that, all of that. What other plans do you have? And when the other government comes in, will they replace fuel subsidy? These are questions, economic questions that people are asking. Anyway, Kemi Badenoch was asked about the British police. That was the question. She jumped on the Nigerian police. Why don't you talk about the British police? She spoke about the Nigerian police instead and said that the Nigerian police stole her brother's shoe and something, maybe at the airport or somewhere. The Nigerian police, rather than saying a police officer, one police officer. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses for the Nigerian police. We all know what happens right from the airport down to your house. We've all experienced it one way or the other. The criminality, craziness, thievery. of majority of them from the airport. Or God, what you bring? If you're not careful, they take you to a room. They try to extort from you. If you're not careful, they steal from your bag. Particularly when you're on your way to catch your flight. They want to delay you. They want to frustrate you. And you will never experience this coming from other countries. We know that. And that should be talked about. But talking about it will not shame them because the culture, implementation of punishment. But who will punish who? When the head is bad. Now, talking about it publicly and making it look that way, will it change these criminals from doing what they do? That's a question that we should ask ourselves. There are a lot of terrible things happening all over the world. You heard what the gentleman said. He said, we have other foreigners who have mounted this position, had become the leader of their party. None of them have come out to destroy the country that they are from. Question is this: who did this to us? Who did this to us? Why is it that Africans have this tendency to easily betray? Do you think India, as it is, that used to be and probably is the poorest, where you find more poor people, why didn't Patel come to talk down about his country, religion, and he will not do that because he knows that saying and talking this way will bring me down? No, he knows that it will bring down a whole race and his people will not be treated fairly. Some people are beginning to say that Kemi, the vice president say, strip your name, take off your name and stay with your bad luck. That she must be stripped of her Nigerian citizenship and visas should not be given to her. She might be like, what? Good riddance to bad rubbish. I'm not interested. I'm not even coming to the Nigeria itself. I'm okay in the UK. I've got family here. I can go vacating. It's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Like I said, this story is going to be a long one. It's going to be talked about. The shame of it is when she does not end up becoming the prime minister that she wants to. She will go into a cocoon. I think measures will be taken. They just don't want to say things right now publicly. Measures will be taken against her. So the talk is there. Should we change? Let us change ourselves. Let us change the country. Enough is enough.